says.
You gotta fight for your right to party. You gotta fight for your right to party.
You gotta fight for your right. Fight for your right. The right to the party. Fight for your right. The fucking party. You gotta fight for your right to party. Fight to party.
Hey.
Here, welcome back.
Save some room for the
Baseline potentials.
drums.
Baseline potentials.
So we are here. Welcome, Nick.
Hey, man.
Thanks for being here,
Hey,
player.
dude.
Hi.
I'm not positive what episode this is,
We're not certain anymore.
but we are thrilled to have our good friend and compadre, Mr. Nick Perez. Nick is a man of many talents. One being one of our oldest friends and one of the silliest men to ever grace the earth. But you're also an EMT worker.
Yes.
What's the proper vernacular? Are you an EMT agent? Are you an EMT?
Oh, agent would be so nice. It's really just a benign thing. It's not even fun. It's just emergency medical technician. It's
Oh, a
That's cool.
technician. I
Yeah,
like
I
that.
mean,
I thought
So
it was like transport.
that's seemingly what all I do sometimes.
Transport, yeah.
Yeah.
Technician.
So Nick is an EMT technician. I like that. That sounds a little bit more
Well, then that's like saying,
emergency
like
medical
and then-
technician.
yeah, it's you don't need to have the technician at the end. It's just EMT. It's like its own thing.
And you're working in Seattle, Washington, which was essentially in America kind of the epicenter for COVID-19.
Yeah, I mean it's I guess started in Kirkland, which was across the lake. If you're not familiar with where Seattle is, it's kind of this surrounded by a couple bodies of water. Lake Washington is in between Seattle and another city, Bellevue, Kirkland, and Redmond. And so it started. I can't even say started. It got the focus of the national attention at a care center out in Kirkland. But then also you find that it spread through the community kind of like wildfire for a long time.
And I have so many questions to ask you because we haven't really spent much time together since this whole pandemic started happening. But give us, if you can, like the day-to-day of being an EMT technician prior. I kind of have this idea that potentially, right, there's BC and there's AD, and that this might be the new judgment of time is AP and DP or BP.
Let's not do the DP.
Not DP, sorry. BP and AP, before pandemic, after pandemic. So
Yeah.
you've been an EMT technician for coming up on a couple years, right? 2
I
years.
think
Several.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years working in the medical field at this capacity. But yeah, for 3 years, I've been working as an EMT. And no, there's I can't say that there's a big contrast in the type of work that I do because you're always looking out for your own safety first. So if someone's has a respiratory illness prior to COVID, you're still masking up, you're still putting on your gloves, you're still trying to protect yourself because I don't want to take anything that I'm exposing myself to at work home.
Right.
And so that has always been a priority. I mean, in schooling, when you're training about how to go and be an EMT and work in the field, the first thing they teach you is like body substance isolation and then making sure the scene is safe. So like making sure that you are not going to become a patient. So from a work perspective, there has been some change, but like from the operational side of it, not so much.
Was there any sort of special training that you guys had to kind of speed through during, or were you pre-trained for a pandemic? I would imagine that's something that's just not in the EMT like user manual.
I don't know if anybody's necessarily trained for a pandemic.
Right.
No, to answer no,
Yeah.
like there wasn't any like pre-training for a pandemic. that I think the thing is that nobody was prepared for this to happen at this magnitude.
Right.
When I first heard about COVID, it was in December, and I was listening to NPR on my way to work, and they were talking about this respiratory illness that was happening in China at the time. Oddly enough, the first call that I had that day was a guy at a shelter who had just like a phantom respiratory illness, short of breath, satting low, and this guy was normally just pretty healthy, all things considered. And immediately after hearing this on NPR, I decided that I'm just going to put a mask on every patient. Just put a mask on them, like whether it's respiratory or not. Just put a mask on them, and it kind of just became something that happened. People on scene were like, "Why are you doing that?" And I was just like, "Oh, this is just heard this thing. You know, I don't want to get sick. I don't know what's happening." Because, let's say, like, it started getting national attention in February, right?
Right.
If I think about how this disease happened, if it started in China in December, November, borders weren't closed in December or November. People are still traveling. There's still commerce. So that spread is happening silently for months prior to it becoming something that we're, one, testing for and aware of. So it's just been around for a while, and I've lost track where the initial
Well,
conversation topic
you
was.
certainly had it maybe
Oh, I mean,
twice or 3 times over at this rate.
Gosh, I hope.
Before even knowing that it was even a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was really sick in January, and I just thought it was like a common. I mean, it's flu season,
Right.
so I thought it was just like the flu. Couple days go by, symptoms start to clear up. I'm feeling more able to go to work. I'm not running a fever. I go to work, right? But I still have a cough. I still have the sniffles, right? In March, got super sick
Again.
again.
Oh, wow.
Actually, like, right, my birthday happened the day after. I was just miserable. I slept for like 2 days straight, just incredibly ill. And then, yeah, I would think that I would have had it. I was tested negative for it. I haven't had any antibody tests, but I also kind of don't want to get an antibody test. I
Why is that?
I just don't want to become confident that I have antibodies, therefore I'm immune. I don't want to get lax in my
Interesting.
I guess, wow.
in my approach to it.
That's interesting.
I'd much rather assume that I can die from it at any time.
Yeah, that's
and
smart.
so it's one of those things where ignorance is kind of bliss on the
Or ignorance is like
Safety.
Yeah, like
well, it keeps
engineering
me
your
honest.
safety.
It keeps me.
I have the antibodies, and I definitely feel like I'm Superman.
Yeah, but
I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I just
Yeah.
took a flight this morning. I was here. I was on a flight, and now I'm here, and I'm keeping my distance from you, not Alan, because I
Yeah.
don't care about him. But but
I mean,
I mean, I assume that me even being around you is it doesn't. You've been around so many people with so many illnesses that like your immune system has been really tempered to all of this stuff.
I don't. I mean, yeah, maybe my immune system's tempered, but like all things considered, I'm probably the vector in any group,
Right.
which is incredibly frightening.
Yeah, totally.
Even like, we go through lockdowns, and I fear that that's going to be something that happens again. But you don't see your family, and then those things start to loosen up, and people start to reintegrate, and they see their family, they see their friends, and just due to the nature of my job, I have become almost like a hermit. I don't get to see, my parents, my nieces, my nephew, my sister. Like I don't get to go see them as often as I would like to, because there's this fear that I will bring that back.
Yeah.
And is that coming from your direction or their direction or both?
Both.
Yeah.
Sometimes at like really inconvenient times on their end. I think there's a lot of fear around getting someone sick.
Yeah,
And
of
we all
course.
have, and I'm young enough to where it might not be something that would affect me as severely as like my parents or my brother-in-law's family. You know, they're all older,
Yeah.
and I would be devastated
For
Sure.
if I just went to like a family barbecue, and all of a sudden someone's not making it to Thanksgiving because
Right.
because they died because I got them sick.
Yeah.
Right.
God. That's so hard to think
Like,
about.
and so you kind of retreat into your solitude, right? And I think with this disease, and maybe that's like, you know, it hasn't changed my perspective on things, but I have seen the fear and the pain of an individual who is sick and fears that they have COVID, but then also the family members around that person.
Sure.
And when you're on scene and you have 15, maybe less minutes to get somebody from their house into an ambulance and start going to the hospital, how do you tell someone that, like, you might not see your family again? You might die alone.
Yeah.
Have you
Like-
ever had to tell somebody that?
I've had to tell people, like, you're really sick and you need to take this opportunity to say goodbye to this person.
Wow.
I don't diagnose, but I could say this person looks really sick.
Yeah.
And you need to take your moments to, like, say, because like the hospitals, they weren't allowing visitors in the
Right,
family
right.
or like to come visit for a while, and they still like have a very limited capacity. And if someone ends up testing positive for COVID and they're really sick, they're isolated in a room.
Right.
You can't come and visit that person. And so if someone expires, if they pass away because they're sick, they're doing it alone.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to die alone. Like, I think that's everybody's, not everyone, but a lot, like, nobody wants that. Also, nobody deserves that.
Right.
And so I say that because, like, I retreat into my own bubble of, like, this is where I need to keep myself safe and my family safe, because I don't want that on anybody.
Yeah. Wow.
I would be absolutely devastated if that was something that I ended up doing, and it sucks. And
Right.
I think there's this level of exhaustion where everybody is kind of over it. They want it to be done. Nobody wants to be, you know, wearing masks. Nobody wants to have like groups of only 5 people. Nobody wants to like not be able to go out and have the luxuries that they had prior to this. But the magnitude and the gravity of it all, and the truth of it really is that, like, it's real, and you might not get sick, but somebody else might. And if that person gets sick, they're dying alone. They might have a nurse there that they don't know holding their hand that's suited up, looking like a spaceman in Tyvek, and they just have a nurse holding their hand, but their family's not there. They're just suffocating. They're not breathing, and they just die alone. And it's heartbreaking, and it's absolutely terrifying for me to imagine bringing that on to somebody else.
And you've seen it happen more often than not since the start of COVID.
So I don't see people
Sure,
die
right.
often.
Okay.
I've seen really sick people
Yeah.
that I've taken to the hospital that were either COVID positive or a high index of suspicion that they were COVID positive. And when that is the diagnosis, or what you believe to be the diagnosis, there are, you know, there's a way that the steps fall,
Yeah.
or the, you know.
I've known you most of my life, and you've always been like probably like the hardest, strongest, and most like, I mean, you're definitely the most equipped friend of mine for the position that you have. Hence, probably why you're in the position that you're in. But I've never really seen you personally be scared for like yourself. Like, I understand that you're scared for other people. Like, you have a fear surrounding like your family and the people that you're trying to protect and take care of, and that's very noble of you. But first of all, like, where do you get that fearlessness for yourself to even like have that job and position? But secondly, like, there must be some fear that you have as well, going like that. I don't know, man, like you've just always been so tough, and I've like always admired that about you. But you've gotta fucking have some scaries inside of you, right? Like, doing everything that you do, and aren't like, what are you afraid of for yourself?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
Yeah. Sorry.
What am I afraid of for myself? I'm afraid of. I mean, this is gonna steer away from
That's
anything
okay.
that
We're gonna go back.
I mean,
dude.
like what I guess like what I'm afraid of for myself is not being an emotional person because I am
Desensitized to this.
not even desensitized. I'm just really good at compartmentalizing things, and that helps me at work. I can dissociate from the emotional side of things and just look at it as a task or something that I'm doing. It's a functional thing. But I think my toughness isn't because I'm a tough person. To be honest, it has been. I can't say really anymore, but in the past, it was a facade because I was an incredibly untough person and uncomfortable with my emotions.
Right.
And that
That masked itself. As
that
a,
masks
as a
itself.
toughness,
So
right.
so my fears, my anxieties, my sadness would come out as toughness or anger.
Right.
I'd puff up my chest and
Totally.
and I'd be this strong, confident person, but I was just masking all of these things that I've been kind of denying
Right.
from the get-go. And that there's everybody has their own story, but from your childhood, from things that happen, you develop these ways of protecting yourself. And my way of protecting myself was through being tough.
Right.
And that doesn't translate into I'm an emotional person
Totally.
at that point.
Right. You can still, even though you can present as a tough guy, like I presented as a funny guy. That was my defense mechanism.
Yeah.
To be a tough guy, you still need to physically be tough. So like I've been to the Jersey Shore with you, and I've watched you get into some throwdowns, dude. And I've seen pool cues broken over the back of your head, and like you're a tough guy. So like without saying, like without I'm not trying to give too much credit to that, but also like recognizing that you are also aware of this at the same time.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, I'm
you are a tough guy.
Yeah, oh,
and you can fight, and you
well-
could kick somebody's ass, and I couldn't.
My parents put me in martial arts
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
kid.
Your Omar Perez, shout out, dude.
I
One of the
spent
greatest.
dude, my dad, first off, tough guys.
Yeah,
my dad
totally.
is way tougher than me. He's
Definitely.
5'6", 150-pound little like Filipino dude, and he will whoop me next time till like for like a year and a half. I'll still feel it, man. That guy has instilled the fear of God just from like not even like being physically aggressive, but just he is just tough. Like, and you're taking it away from me because this is now going to be chronicled in the digital archives forever.
I like that.
But like what you're doing, like my dad, when I was growing up, his friends would be like, "Oh man, your dad's so tough. He did this. He beat up this guy, did that thing, and whatever." And he'd always be like, "Nah, man, it wasn't me. It must have been somebody else." Like trying to just like pawn it off because I don't think he wanted me to be a tough guy. I think he wanted me to be confident, but he didn't want me to be a tough guy.
Wow.
And so he'd always be like, "No, that's not me. Like just go." Be a nerd with your karate and paint, Warhammer figures in the basement or whatever that is that you want to do. And now I can't do that. Now I have to be like, okay, kids, sorry, dad beat some people up in the past. Thanks for taking that away. You stripped me of my out.
Your dad is an incredible human being, and we've all been very privileged to know Omar Perez, and I assume that growing up with him, you said he didn't want you to be tough, he wanted you to be confident. Instead, you flipped those things.
Yeah.
You were tough instead of confident. You were tough as a presentation of what you hoped to be confident, maybe to
Yeah, I
please
mean,
your dad?
I guess that's no. I mean, I think there's kind of like this. I asked this question of myself, like, what is confidence and what is cockiness? Like confidence is something you hold within yourself. Cockiness is something that you have to project. And that's kind of what toughness is. I can be a tough individual. I don't have to show that to anybody. I can just know within myself that I can handle a situation. I can take care of myself. I can get myself out of something.
Yeah.
I don't have to walk around and be that.
Yeah.
I don't have to hide myself behind that wall. because I can hold that within me, and then that makes you a tough person. That makes you confident. But that projection is, you know, and it comes from a place of fear.
When you're on the, sorry to cut you off, Nick. When you're working, are there moments where obviously you've, as a self-preservation mechanism, built up this ability to maybe pull yourself out of empathy, right? Like there's moments where empathy really probably is there. My question being, is there times when empathy really helps you on the job and times where it hinders you?
Oh yeah, I mean, you have to be empathetic. Like I think, for me, that's like the hardest thing is because you deal with people from all walks of life, and you know, even the people that you work with come from different backgrounds, and diversity is one of the finest things in this field because you're going to find yourself with, you know, somebody who doesn't necessarily identify with you, but they're going to identify with somebody else that you're working with, and that person translate better in the moment of crisis. But yeah, you have to be empathetic. You have to feel that. And like for me, you know, Seattle has a large homeless population. There's a drug problem.
Yeah.
I've had family members that are drug addicts. I have family members that are homeless. And so I can be empathetic towards them and their situation, not just look at them and be like, oh, this is just another, you know, drugged out homeless guy. I can see the humanity in them. And it allows me to care to make sure that they're getting the right care that they need.
Right. I think maybe I directed that question because you said that your maybe biggest fear in life is becoming emotionless. And I'm maybe projecting, but I would imagine as somebody who deals with crisis constantly, like there's going to be a portion of that empathy that hardens a little bit over time. Like my pulse in an emergency is different than your pulse in an emergency.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
is
we're running.
that what you meant by being like eventually being emotionless? That's your fear, is eventually you will just be void of emotion, or are you speaking?
No, I mean that was, I mean, for me that was completely non-work related. Like what my biggest fear is, because you know, like, do I have fears at work? Yeah, I have fears of like getting sick. I have fears of getting hit by a car. I have fears that like someone's gonna crash into the ambulance. We're gonna crash the ambulance. I have a fear. I mean, dude, we have some scary times. I've had like
Totally.
So I've had some of the craziest moments in my life happen in a 4x6 space with somebody I don't know as they're having like the biggest crisis of their time. And you know, it's crazy to think that, you know, I'm sitting there with somebody who is maybe having a psychotic break. Maybe they've taken a bunch of meth and they're just like raging. Maybe they're like drunk and coming out of it. And you know, people try and fight you in the back. People try to harm you, and like that's a scary thing. You know, you'll get somebody who's I had a patient once that was the person who supposedly stabbed somebody, and he was just kind of thrown onto my gurney and we were told that he was going to go to the hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. But he was going voluntarily. And so he's in the back, and then all of a sudden he just decides he doesn't want to go to the hospital. He wants to go to jail. I can't take somebody to jail. They have to be arrested. That's out of what I do. This guy was trying to fight. He wanted, and like, he's got his stuff with him. I don't know if he's going to stab me. And so, yeah, I was scared for my safety at that point.
As an EMT worker, do they give you any pepper spray, like any sort of nothing?
Nope, nothing. Nothing at all. You don't like. We have just now been authorized to buy a subsidized bulletproof vest for ourselves.
Really?
And
as of recent times?
Over the last couple months.
Wow.
It was I guess you could have it at any time you wanted to. But it was like pushed out in a company email, like these are now what you can buy. And it just seems kind of weird that like I have to pay $400 for my own safety. I guess it matters in the long run, but it's like,
Well,
no, like you don't get pepper spray because like you don't get handcuffs, you don't get a taser.
wow.
It's just kind of just you and yourself and somebody else, and you don't know when that moment is going to flip and turn.
How often does it flip and turn? Is it, I mean, primarily pretty peaceful interactions, or is there a percentage of them that kind of go awry?
Dude, it comes in waves.
Yeah,
It,
wow.
it really does. Like, it seems like when you are chill for a while, all of a sudden you'll just get a week of just absolute nonsense. You're just run through with like this heightened sense of awareness and just chaos on the job. I would say that when I was working nights, it was a lot worse.
You're not working nights anymore.
No, I'm not working nights. I'm working
Okay.
day shift. Day shift is so good.
So
I doubt it.
It's better. I mean, I think it's like during the day you'll have somebody who like is a little bit more tame. Like if somebody's using drugs, they might be high and feeling good, but at night they're strung out.
Right.
They're coming down. They're angry. And that's the thing. Like during the day, you might get a call for somebody who's being a nuisance. People are out and about. If you get a call at night downtown for somebody being a nuisance, they're on another level.
right.
Do you get into situations a lot where cops are on the site with you and you're having to kind of like figure out who is responsible for the situation at hand, or like, how does that even work? Especially
I mean, so the thing is with us in police is that we'll do police transports where they will call us and we'll be strictly no medical. We're just taking this person to the jail because it's safer for us to put them on the gurney and in restraints than putting them in the back of a cruiser where they could harm themselves or the officer. Police will also, they can involuntarily commit somebody for a psychiatric crisis. And at that point, there are no police involved. It's our patient.
police can involuntarily.
Meaning like they're detained, but
Yeah.
they're not detained in a normal.
They're not going to jail. They're going to the hospital to be psychiatrically evaluated. And the thing is like that person, if they're not gravely disabled or suicidal or a threat to people, then they get an evaluation, they go. And there's such a lack of mental health resources available,
Right.
that there's never going to be enough. I mean, there will be if money was appropriated in the right areas, but there's never, at the rate that things are going now, there's not going to be enough.
How many of the calls that you go out on, how many would you say, if you were to broad strokes generalize in a percentage statistic, drug related? Is it over half?
I'd say probably like a third.
A third, okay.
A third. I mean, the thing is like,
Still super high.
I mean, yeah, but like, that's the thing. It's like, is an injury of somebody who is on drugs, let's say they stepped or fell or something like that, is that drug related? No, because I'm not showing up to this person who is high, or I'm showing up because they like
Right.
rolled their ankle. Like that is not the primary problem why I'm there. That's not their chief complaint, as we would call it.
What about mental health affiliated then?
I would say more so mental health affiliated is a stronger thread. Just because that's an underserved population.
Right.
If someone is homeless, they don't have the income to take care of themselves, and they also have a mental health crisis, the only place that they can go is to call 911.
Right.
I think we've been getting a lot more people who are suicidal because of the pandemic. People are at the kind of like their end isolation. They don't like it. People have to deal with their own thoughts more. There's less distraction. Who knows?
I'm going crazy.
But I think, and to a degree, every time you show up and I don't show up on somebody's best day. I show up when it's their worst day.
Right. It's not a birthday
And
party.
so there's always, I think it could be a birthday party. I've shown up to birthday parties and it turned into someone's worst day. But
The clown is just spazzing out on the
like
grass.
someone thinks that I'm coming in as like,
Listen,
you know,
my
the party
30s
guy.
My 33rd birthday party blew. I wish Nick would have been there.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, my 33rd birthday party I was sick.
So was I.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Our birthday is 2 days apart.
That's so great, man. I love it when our birthdays line up and we can do something. That's a
We
lot
were
of fun.
here.
We had
for
our
the
birthday.
30th.
We had our 30th birthday party here together.
We did. It was a bash and a half.
Oh,
my
dude.
God.
I
I
love
got on
that,
your
man.
shoulders.
You did, and then I cried.
I
I don't cry often. You know what? I don't cry tears of sadness very often. Tears of joy.
Oh yeah.
That is where I feel safe crying.
Yeah.
Is when I'm happy. But then I think it might turn into sadness because I'm just like,
Does it make you feel
the
like,
gears are
oh
going.
man, I'm being a wuss right now. I got to sniffen up and
I'm
get
fucking
better.
tough.
Yeah, I'm fucking Nick Perez.
Sick
I'm
Nick. Omar wouldn't do this.
Omar wouldn't cry.
WWOD.
No. I'm just gonna start calling my dad a wad.
I'd like to take it back to these percentage statistics. So
Stats.
obviously, there's a high capacity of mental illness calls, specifically in the pandemic. And I'm not attempting to try and make light of anything that you do or anybody's situation, but I'm just super curious because in the last 5 years, I've seen a lot more of these things.
Yeah.
And with any motorized vehicle, I'm always curious, how many people are hurting themselves. How many Lime scooter and Razor scooter calls do you guys get where drunk assholes have rented one of those rent-a-scooter things in the city?
In Seattle, they don't have them really.
Oh,
They haven't
what?
rolled out. They haven't rolled out with the Lime. They have the Uber bikes or whatever they are. And the thing is with that is that they have a lot of railways, and they have this trolley on Capitol Hill that goes around, and people's tires will get stuck in the track, and so
Oh, no.
and so you'll just have somebody just go over the fucking handlebars. And that's what you see. And
Steve likes it.
Turn your mic
Turn
on
your
so you can
mic
laugh.
on. We need that laugh, player.
But you'll end up you don't even have to be drunk for that. People will just be on a Sunday cruise, fucking
No.
with Meemaw, and
Dude,
all of a sudden Meemaw's on the ground.
I thought about you, man, when I was, and just everything that you do and how you deal with it. When I was, before I left to come out here, I was riding my bike back home from somewhere that I was at, and I happened upon this kid who had just eaten shit over a median, just walking drunk and tripped over this median and just bashed his face in the ground. And I was just on my bike riding right past him, and I came upon him, and his whole mouth was busted open. All of his teeth were it's one of those bad dreams that you have when all your teeth are gone.
That guy's worst.
And I was oh my God, this I was I don't know how to react. I was let me move you over to the curb and let me take care of you, and let me, oh God, I couldn't look at his mouth because it was just gushing blood, pulsing out of his face. I gotta get in there.
No, not you, but
I didn't know what you gotta get in there and start doing
I want you to call 911 and tell me what's in his mouth.
So I did.
Saddle up and get in there.
So I did. A girlfriend of his kind of started running up, and she was just oh man, Mark, you did it again. And then he looks up and he's just cross-eyed, and he's I did it again. And it was just oh my God. I was all right, I have to make the executive decision. So I called 911, called it in. The ambulance came super quick. They got there, and I'm shaking and super nervous and kind of freaking out. These EMT workers come out, and they're just so are you good? I was what are you talking about? Are you good? His whole fucking mouth is busted out of his face, dude. This is my worst nightmare. This kid's hammered. He's going to wake up tomorrow and fucking chop his nuts off. This sucks. And
make matters worse.
But I realized in that moment, I was I thought about you, because I was dude, this is not a big issue for these EMT workers who are showing up to to this call. They're
Because
just
you
like,
see that.
cool.
You normalize the
Right,
craziness.
right. And I was just like, man, your reference for what's fucked up is out of control. Because like you see something
Yeah.
awful,
Yeah.
and then you're just like, okay, well that supersedes what was awful before, and now like unless it's that awful, it's less than that. And so of course you're still affected by everything, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you're just like, like it's not that bad.
You
Like that
normalize it.
mouth. I was like, I've never seen something this bad in my life. And they were just like, do you want to just like stand up and walk in? Do you even want to get in the ambulance? Like,
Yeah.
do you want to pay for this trip that you're gonna have to take? Like, you're super drunk.
Oh,
do you want to just
God,
go
that's a
home? I was
bummer.
like, go home? What is he gonna do when he goes home? This is insane. And so yeah, I thought about you because I was just like, man, like Nick must. You've told us stories, man, just about like, all the
Yeah.
things that you've seen, and it's just so absurd. And
But dude, like that's the thing. Is like they're always the crazy stories. There's all like it's come to this point where it's like I don't even my days aren't even really that crazy anymore because like the craziest things that I've seen are never really the craziest thing I've seen. But
Yeah.
at the same time, I've just normalized it. But like my favorite stories are like they're not crazy. They're just dumb and silly.
Give us a few of those. Nick.
can you please give us the turkey sandwich story?
No, I'm not, absolutely not.
come
No,
on.
no one needs to, that stays within a small group of
Really?
maybe
You
45
don't have to give
people.
any names.
No, dude, it's just disgusting. That is
No,
that is not.
This is how good's this, dude? We're
No,
trying to
it's-
get it out
Come
there.
on, dude, how good is it?
How
Get
good
in
is
there.
it?
No,
for Mark.
get in there.
Dude, I think the public wants to, not especially now.
Absolutely not.
Nah,
No,
we
can
no,
cut it
no,
out.
Stay
no,
with that.
All right,
not-
all right,
no,
all right,
no,
all right,
no,
all
that
right,
is
all
not
right,
something
all
that
right,
anybody needs.
Before-
People need to enjoy turkey sandwiches. Still, like, I'm not trying to put
That's how you
Subway
know.
out of
That's
business.
how you know it's bad.
Both of us enjoyed a Jimmy John's turkey sandwich before
Yeah,
you got in
you
here.
like.
So
I'm surprised. I didn't eat turkey sandwich for a while.
Yeah, well,
it freaked me
now
out.
the
But you
now
know,
the
yeah.
whole
your experience was a little different.
yeah,
than
mine-
ours was.
the listeners are mad right now.
I'm sure.
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry to.
You
I'm
have to,
so sorry to
You have to
disappoint.
supplement them with another.
Give us a
Dude,
good one.
Okay, so this is when I was working nights.
Mm-hmm.
I had, dude. First off, I want to say I've met some of the best people in the world working in this job.
Oh, Yes. nice.
Some of the coolest people. My partners have been fantastic.
Do you
workers.
keep this was a question I had for you. Do you keep the same do you have the same partner now at your day shift that you've
Yeah.
had for a minute?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So unless they change shifts, you get a different job, you quit, whatever.
Are you guys in like any sort of EMT fantasy league?
I would like to.
Start it up.
I would like to get rated and then find out how mediocre I am.
I was thinking you guys would pick players for like repeat offenders. You know, people that you see a lot
Oh my
of.
God.
Oh
Yeah,
no! I mean,
you
like,
guys got, like, pools in the-
well, the
in
thing
the
is, like,
ambulance?
you do see repeat offenders, and like, you know who this person is. The thing is with them is like, you'll get the repeat offender who has the same complaint every time, and you're like, all right, the same complaint, same complaint, same complaint. But then, like, let's say the guy's drunk all the time, and he's just hammered, and sleeping, and somebody calls, and you pick him up, he's drunk, you take him to the hospital, he sobers up.
Yeah.
And then you show up this one time, and he's not drunk. And he's sober, and he's saying like, "This hurts," and you're like, "Oh shit, I actually got to worry."
Oh,
about.
yeah,
like I can't just get complacent and like you're the same guy that I've seen
Sure.
50 times in the last year drunk. Like you're sober right now, and you're saying something hurts. You're not just drunk, like rambling. Like you're actually there's something going on.
This might be you might not be able to be completely honest with me in this situation, but for a split second when you saw that guy not drunk, were you like, we should just get him a drink?
Dude, no, I was.
Come on, you didn't. It didn't cross your
well,
mind.
the thing is like it came through.
Come on.
It came. It comes through on the CAD.
Fucking awful.
You're
Maybe he just needs a shot.
No, I mean, I'll tell you, like,
It's gin and
sometimes people drunk are a lot nicer than people mean, or
Oh.
people sober. They're mean sober, nice drunk, and like, I definitely like some people better when they're drunk because they're friendly and
Yeah.
not yelling at me. But dude, okay, back. We detract.
Yeah,
We
sorry.
went away.
Tell us a story.
Good stories. So
stories.
I was working nights. My buddy Keon, he's still one of my best friends. We hang out.
I think I know Keon.
Keon's a good dude. And it's like 3:30 in the morning, and we get dispatched to this call, and it's teenage male high out of his mind. That's all it said.
Yeah.
And an address. So I'm like, dude, God damn it, I'm so tired. I don't want to go and just tell someone that they're high and they're fine. And we roll up on scene. It's like, and this is a nice-ish neighborhood. Turn off the lights because we don't want to like wake up the neighborhood essentially. So we turn off the lights, kind of talking to each other, like getting all our stuff together. And I jump out of the ambulance, and I literally almost step on like this Macaulay Culkin sized kid. Like he looked like Kevin from Home Alone, just like
McAllister.
Kevin, yeah. Kevin McAllister, just like this gangly, like all knees and elbows kid. And like I almost step on him, and he's in his underpants. He's on his phone. He's like, yeah, I think they're here. I'm like, who are you, and why are you whispering? And
Fuller.
Easy on the Pepsi.
Exactly. He's like, he just got mad he had to sleep in the attic. He's coming out.
He ordered an entire cheese pizza and somebody ate it.
Yeah, someone had to puke it up. He's feeling sad.
We're detracting again.
Okay, so back to Fuller.
So like this kid, he's like this pasty little kid, and I'm like, he's like, I think they're here. He's on the phone with some friend. He hangs up, and I'm like, did you call 911? And he's like, yeah, I called 911. And I'm like, what's going on? Come into the ambulance. And so we sit down, we talk to him, and basically he ate an edible for his first time.
Oh no.
His friend had it. They were gonna split it, and he took it because it was in his house. He didn't want his mom and dad to find it. And
Ballsy move.
I was like, so what are you feeling? What's going on? He's like, so I feel like I'm having a conversation, and then time skips, and I'm in the middle part of the sentence. I'm like, oh, dude, you got the skips.
That's a brownout right there.
I'm just like,
Is that a diagnosis?
I mean, I will not.
Oh, yeah, you got the skips.
That's a technical term. Classic case of the skip. So, and then I think it's just sometimes when you know. And so he's I ended up just explaining to him, like, dude, you're high. Take his vitals. I'm like, chances are you probably won't overdose. Chances are you won't be the only person in history to overdose on marijuana. And so,
Are you sure?
Yeah, and he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, dude, like, you're probably gonna be okay. Like, do you want to go to the hospital? Because that's the only thing I can do for you, really, is take you to the hospital. But you have to, like, you're a minor. I can't just take you from your house. Like, you have to let your parents know you're going to the hospital. And so he's like, no, dude, I think, like, thanks for talking to me. Thanks for, like, calming me down. I think I'm just going to stay home. And we have to have people sign paperwork if they're not going to
Oh my God.
to go to the hospital. And I realized that this kid is 14 years old. He can't sign shit. I look at my partner, Kean, I look at this kid, I'm like, oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. But, like, you got to tell your mom that you're not going to the hospital. She's got to sign this.
Oh, no.
So we get inside of that. He's like,
Why does he have to sign it? Just because you guys showed up? And
because of, like, liability
Okay,
and things,
okay.
right? Somebody has to say, like, okay, we're
Right.
not going to take
Right.
care.
So you couldn't leave until he.
I couldn't leave until
right.
somebody signed this thing. And so,
You didn't just sign for him, dog?
no, dude, I can't forge that. I'll get
Come on,
fired,
just
man.
put
Lose my
Patty
license.
Simpson,
I got
dude.
licenses and
Certificates
credentials.
and credentials, dude.
So I'm like, sorry, dude. I'm so sorry, buddy. Like, you gotta get your parents. He's like, my dad's gone on business. My mom's sleeping in her room. We can go inside and get her.
And just to be clear, he's still tripping balls
Yeah,
right now.
he's
Okay,
still
cool.
high.
Okay,
He's
back up.
This,
He ain't
this,
tripping.
this kid's.
I mean, dude,
the
have
wall.
you been 14 and high as shit on edibles before? Because that shit is
Yeah,
fucked
I mean,
up.
dude,
I've been 32 years old and high on edibles, freaking out.
Yeah, I mean,
It's so scary.
I mean, he had the skips. He probably
He had
he was
classification
forgetting
the skips.
He was forgetting the conversation halfway
Easy
through.
does it.
But I'm like, yeah, dude, you gotta go get your mom. So we get into his house. It's all dark, and we get to his mom's door. I'm knocking on the door. Like, TV's on, no answer. I'm knocking on the door, and no one answers. And, like, I keep feeling like sorry for this kid. I'm like, dude, you got to go in there and do this. I'm not gonna walk into your mom's room at 3 a.m. just some random guy with a mustache and be like,
Yeah, that happened.
Looking like Rick Moranis.
it's like, I'm not like she could have a gun. I could get shot. Like,
right.
you have to wake up your mom, and I'm sorry you're so high. You have to do this.
Oh, my
Like, you have to wake up
God.
your mom. Like, I don't want you to get in trouble and whatever. And this kid starts having a panic attack on the stairs. Like, you guys got to take me to the hospital. Like, you still have to wake up your mom. and so he's
having a panic attack just thinking about waking up his mom.
yeah,
talking
and
to her.
he's high, and so it's just things are compiling. It's getting worse, and I'm trying to like talk him through it, and like, and I start looking around, and I realize that his mom or his dad, somebody's listening to like Pink Floyd, Marley. They got records all over the place of kind of just like the old stoner music.
Right.
And I was like, dude, I'm gonna be honest. I think you're gonna be okay. I think you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be totally cool. Your mom's gonna be a little upset, but I think she's gonna be fine.
She
and
might
so-
even make you a grilled cheese.
And she might make you some chamomile, put you to bed. So this little scrawny kid musters up the courage. He opens up the door and he walks over to his mom, and he's like shaking her, trying to wake her up, and she's not waking up. And I'm like, all of a sudden I went into panic mode. I'm like,
Don't tell me that she.
I'm thinking like, this kid's mom's dead.
Oh my
God.
God.
Like that's where my head goes. I'm like, this kid's high as balls.
Oh my
I told him to go wake up his mom. He's gonna find his
my
mom dead. High.
goodness.
He's high as shit.
Come on, dude.
She wakes up.
Thank God.
She does. It just took a couple minutes. She's a hard
Podcast is
sleeper.
over if she's dead, dude. I'm out of here, bro.
She's a hard sleeper, and she's like, who are you and why are you in my house? I tell her, and she's super groggy. So like, I give her the whole spiel, and then like, she's like, wait, who the fuck are you? Because she kind of finally woke up. Tell her,
Right.
"Dude, this is the scenario. Like, your son's high. It's the first time doing it. You know, he did the right thing. Called 911 when he was scared. And she's like, oh, honey, come here, come to bed, and like puts him in bed, puts him in a blanket, and then I'm like, you have to sign this paperwork. So she closes the door and comes out, and his mom just starts bawling, and she's like, I smoked pot when I was a kid, and like I kind of do now, but like it's my firstborn, and he's making this step, and like now all the transitions are happening. And I'm like so ill-equipped to be a parent because I realize that I'm just like, oh yeah, kids smoke pot. That's my response. It's
Right.
like, it's like, oh, you know, kids do that, so it's totally fine. And like, I'm trying to be like a good father, but I'm bad at it.
Right.
In the moment, which is, I mean, talk about fears. I'm so scared of being a dad.
Dude.
You're a
This
dad.
boy right here,
Hey,
man.
come on, man.
Dude,
He's
is
got
that
13 more years still. He's eating edibles and tripping
yeah?
balls,
And then
calling
I'm
Richard
just
Previous
gonna
over here.
show up,
Oh my God.
drive across the
He's
state.
gonna
and be
wake
like,
you up and you're
"Sup,
gonna be like,
dude?"
"Hey, sir,
my
can you
God.
wake up? Your kid's high as balls."
Speaking of panic moments with edibles, actually no, I'm not gonna share this story.
Do it.
No.
Come on. We're giving too many teasers
hold
here,
on,
man.
if only the Reagan administration DARE campaign did that to every kid,
Yeah, seriously.
we'd have absolutely no drug problem in America.
Also,
I mean,
thanks for sharing something that was so lighthearted and warm for
oh,
us
dude,
to listen to.
weed is like my favorite thing that people do
I was-
because I like
Oh, yeah.
college
You
campuses
just-
are full of people doing it for the first time, and everybody's first time is either really good or really bad.
Right.
And so like people will trip out and like will show up to like a dorm. And I'm like, dude, do you want me to cart you out in a gurney in front of your peers? Do you want to live
Yeah,
that
you're
down
gonna
for the
be
next
looked
4
at.
years?
Oh
Like,
my
how much are you trying to get laid during this
Right.
experience?
Right.
Because like
You're
you're going to
definitely
be
not.
that guy.
Yeah.
Like, let's put on some cat videos. Let's make you some tea. Dim the lighting. I'll talk to you for a half an hour.
Yeah.
And then if you still want to go at the end of the day, we'll take you.
Oh my God, that's amazing that you get to turn on cat videos
Yeah,
for
remember when
people
we
who
turned
are
on-
stoned at university.
Yeah.
It's like you're teaching, you're the senior EMT technician, right? You get
Yep.
you get the junior cadet in the thing, and you're standing up with your little whiteboard eraser, going, "Now these are the good cat videos over here. You're gonna want to quick search the puppy dog vids, and then just give them."
There's a person just for that.
I mean, dude, I wish there was. I wish there was a line people could call and just be like, "Hey, I'm high. What is this gonna be like?"
Yeah.
Because
That's scary, man.
you know, it is. If someone doesn't know what they're going to be experiencing or going through, it can be absolutely terrifying. And I think there should be a line that's not 911 for people to call when they're high because they're afraid. They think they're going to get in trouble. And I'm like, I show up, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to get you in trouble. I ain't no snitch.
Right. I ain't no snitch, son.
I had to cuddle with Alan one time in Vermont for like 4 hours watching monkey
That is the most
vids.
romantic thing you've
my
ever
We
seen.
were
God, dude,
blown out
yeah.
of our brains, dude.
Yeah, that was not a
He
fun
wasn't having a
experience.
good time.
Speaking of 911 and calls that potentially shouldn't go that way but do, 3 days ago, Rudy's in the rig,
Yeah.
and Rudy has this obsession with keys.
Mm-hmm.
First word, keys. He loves them, man. He loves to push the button and hear the horn go and, all this. So Taz has put him in the seat, and to keep him occupied, we give him the keys.
Mm-hmm.
Gives him the car keys, strapping him in. He's keys, honking horns and throwing. Hits the lock button. Doors are open.
Mm-hmm.
Taz grabs the keys, walks around to the driver's side, closes all the doors besides the driver's side, starts the car, realizes that she needs to go back inside and grab something, so she closes the door. She's going to just go inside, lock the door, come right back. Gets to the car, every door is locked. Rudy has hit the lock button while he's fidgeting, right? And all the doors are on lock mode.
Yeah.
And she closes it. Dude, panic. I'm here. I forget who. I talked to you. She called me in a of course, right?
Yeah.
Thank God she had started the car and the AC was on. But we called the locksmith. Finally, my neighbor's like, dude, just call 911.
Yeah.
Called 911. An entire fire truck showed up.
Oh,
to our
yeah,
house.
dude, that's how it happens, man.
Yeah, and
it's great.
And I was like, "Oh my God, you guys, thank you so much. This is amazing." I was like, no big deal, man. We get like 5 of these calls a week.
Oh, dude, I mean, technology's great, but at the same time, like when we were kids, we didn't have automatic locks, so you'd have to run around and smack everything to lock the door. At least one of those would probably be open.
I also wore
But-
cloth diapers. Did you guys
Dude, I
ever?
did too.
Yeah.
I want to, if I have kids, cloth diaper kids.
No, you
I
don't.
don't even know
That's
what
what I
that means.
imagine,
bro.
I know that they're not as
Nope.
absorbent, and then it's a big.
It ain't
problem.
about
I
the
don't
absorbent. It's about the 9 poops that happen in a day, and you got
Dude,
to
I
watch
could-
every single
I could
dookie.
only be so lucky to have 9 poops in a day.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, I
man.
would love a good squat every day, every couple hours, just being like, "Sorry, gotta get going."
Just
In
that,
my
just
knapsack.
just that alone time, and then just that feeling of just levity afterwards.
dude.
Yeah.
Proper
fuck.
time to sit and scroll and like just have your knees go numb.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, cloth diapers, no.
No,
I-
hell no, dude.
I
Stay
didn't-
away from them, Nick. I don't want. If I hear about you having a child and you putting yourself and whoever you procreate with through a cloth diaper situation. Tazzy tried to go cloth diapers for a minute, vetoed that. Very few things that I can veto in my household anymore, but I said, ain't happening, dude.
What's the point of them? We use them out.
The environment, dude. The environment. You gotta care about the environment. We only got one of these things, man.
Dude, I do care about the environment, and the environment needs to not have an Alan Stone raging because he's cleaning poopy nappies 12 hours a day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would make a lot more
No,
sense.
there's
if I just let
listen.
my kid poop on the
I'm
floor.
with you. I don't want our listeners to think that I'm a
You're an asshole.
complete asshole who doesn't care about the environment because I
They
do
do.
not. No, just kidding. There are alternative diapers that you can buy that are
Yeah,
much.
that are-
There's bamboo diapers. There's
Yeah.
plenty of like very
listen where we're going here.
environmentally responsible diapers that you can buy that do not harm the globe.
True.
Nice disclaimer there, Alan.
Well, you know, I don't know.
I'm not trying to lose listeners
I know.
because I'm
Here's,
Cancel.
chucking Pampers out,
Yeah.
using Pampers as
No,
tablecloths.
You're a good father. Man. You're a good.
doilies underneath candles and everything, just Pampers everywhere.
I just wrap Nick's birthday present in like cloth naps.
Dude, I don't know, man. I imagine that as a parent that I'd want to, one, not spend $700 a month on diapers.
Is that how much you have to spend?
They're not cheap, man. And
No,
if you
I mean, it's
9
not-
poops a day, that's a lot.
It's not
Oh,
that
yeah,
much,
just gotta
but
let 'em
yeah,
build
I
up.
mean, it definitely adds up. It ain't $900. I mean,
Yeah.
if your kid is utilizing $900 of underwear or like Pampers, first of all, you probably should call 911 and get Nick to show up to your house.
And I was like, oh no, dude,
Be like,
he's just got the
"Listen, man,
skips.
He just got the skips.
That's crazy, man. I feel very nervous about having children myself.
Yeah.
You should.
I am. I very much
You're
am.
ill prepared.
I know. I don't think I will ever.
No, you should. Both of you should definitely have kids.
I hear what you're saying, but I also hear what you're not saying.
Okay, but here's what I'm
Yeah.
not. Here's what I'm not saying. If you're worried about the environment right now, and this is an abstract idea, so go with me here, please. Okay. The only real way to properly recycle is to procreate and pass down the knowledge that you have to a generation below you so that they can continue the lineage of positivity, good choices, and recycling, dog. You know what I'm saying? Just made a point. I'm about to stand up and show everybody what I'm working with.
Teach all the children, man. Teach them through how good's this.
Teach them the way.
Have you settled on that being the name for the podcast, by the way?
Yeah, how good's this?
All right.
Oh, I almost started We Are the World. We are the world.
That's what you were going to name it?
The world. We are the children.
Oh, man, I'm just mad.
We are the ones who make a better day, so let's start giving.
Let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own life. Turn the reverb on, Steve. It's to make a better day, just you and me. Hey, caveat here. This is great. You can turn the reverb off now. That video, if anybody who's listening, get a chance to check out this video, right? Because we got Michael Jackson comes to the studio, wears one white glove.
Yeah.
If I was in the studio and Mike Jackson, bless his heart, showed up in a sequin vest wearing sunglasses for a song benefiting African children, I would kick him in the nuts. I swear to God, I would kick him so hard in his throat. I'd be like, you egotistical.
Hey, honestly, to his
Let me
credit,
keep going. So Michael Jackson wearing a white glove in a studio singing about African children. There's Stevie Wonder there, dude. Kenny Rogers is there, right? This choir is lit. Bill Withers is in the group, dude. It pans out to the choir, dude. Goes across a whole. There's like Dionne Warwick, everybody. Dude, top right corner, Dan Aykroyd.
He is, dude, he is.
How did he get invited to this party? What a legend.
I mean, you gotta have it all. You gotta touch all bases.
That's right, dude.
You know?
He was a blues brother.
Yeah, he was.
Also, makes a good vodka.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alien Skull and
That just sounds so like I just.
Is
like,
it
it's
called
cringy.
Alien Skull or is it like the
no,
Alien
sorry.
Skull?
It's just like the vodka, in the skull. Sorry, not the alien skull, but you go to.
So it's like
see
the
that.
Ed Hardy of vodka.
Exactly.
The Dan Aykroyd.
It is the Dan Aykroyd, the Ed Aykroyd of vodka.
I mean, it might taste delicious, but I mean, I kind of I look at labels on things, and it could be a terrible product.
Yep.
But if it looks nice, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Word, yeah. I do that with Mounds candy bars all the time.
Dude, you're a Mounds guy? No almond
No,
joy?
I just like the packaging. I
Yikes.
always get into Mounds, and then I'm just like, what the hell did I do to myself here? Coconut? Who wants coconut in a candy bar?
I love
Nobody.
coconut.
Really?
Like there are a few candies that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Almond joy, love
Get
almond
out.
joy.
Yep.
The how do you say this? Is it
Good point.
Haribo?
Haribo
gummy bears?
gummy bears?
Yeah, the gummy bears, but the sour ones, sour golden bears.
Like
Jam.
Sour Patch Kids?
No, sour golden bears. They're better.
Twix or Kit Kat bars?
Twix.
Twix or Kit Kat bars?
Twix or Kit.
Are you saying like those are your favorites?
No,
or
which one do
which
you
one?
prefer?
Neither.
What? Dude.
Neither.
Come on,
Oh
you
my
have to pick
God.
one.
Seriously?
Twix or Kitty? Come on.
I feel like Kit Kat.
Get the fuck
Get
out
out of here, dude. This
It's just
podcast
lighter.
is over.
Yeah.
It's just an
Lighter?
air-
What are you trying to like go on a diet when you have your
on, son.
snack bars?
Listen, this is a hypothetical candy game
I
show,
feel like
bro.
it's lighter. The airiness.
worry about
the,
It is.
calories.
there's such a,
It feels
There's a-
happier at the end of the day.
no
Oh
chance.
my
I don't
God,
know,
dude.
man.
I'll eat 2 Twix at the
Oh,
same
dude,
time,
for
bro.
sure,
Each
man. I'm
side
going
of my
king
mouth.
size,
Come
dude.
on,
Damn,
Oh
boy.
man, you're a heathen. Do you bite the Kit Kat or do you break it?
I bite it and then I suck on it until it's all the way like saturated in my mouth.
I hate you.
I take a fork. I take a fork and a spoon, and I just like weave that Twix like a spaghetti noodle and suck that mofo up my dome.
Oh my God, dude.
That is vile.
No,
No. Here's the thing, like I have a sweet tooth. I just don't really indulge in it because it's like, especially with dessert, like dessert is so good, but it's also just like that fifth meal at the end of the day that I'm not really trying to eat.
Dude, I don't know, man. I haven't heard you say anything with such conviction as golden bears are better.
Golden
Yeah.
bears
You
are the
can't be
best.
just throwing haymakers
What are
with that
golden
statement.
Golden bears. Golden. The
Like Golden
Ariel-
Grams?
No, not golden grams. Not
Golden Grams, dude.
The gummy
shout
bear.
out, bro.
The gummy
Yeah, but the
bears.
regular Haribos are
Okay, here's
way
the thing.
better.
Speaking of golden grams, is that a cereal?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite cereal?
I mean,
Go, Jules.
dude, I'm a big.
If you say Raisin Bran,
Dude,
I will
fuck you,
pinch
dude.
you.
No, but I don't even think they exist anymore. I think they were discontinued in like the late '90s. But it was the Rice Krispie treats.
Oh
Cereal.
yeah, I know about that.
yeah,
They had the marshmallow, they were like little
Yeah.
clusters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
crazy.
Love those. I honestly, it was just a cluster of sugar. Like, that's all it
That's what it
was.
was. Then they're pawning it off as like a nutritious breakfast for
Yeah,
kids.
Rice
It's-
Krispies made with
yeah.
rice
Yeah, lactose and sugar.
Krispies.
Made with rice. Never once did their commercials say made with rice because it says rice on the packaging.
yeah.
Laundry detergent
I definitely-
made with laundry detergent.
I definitely love myself some like banana nut crunch, but that's like if I'm, but like
Oh, God, you're such an adult.
well, yeah, because if I'm going like we were in the cereal aisle the other day, and I was like, which one you gonna pick? I was like, I don't know, dude. Like, I don't really even want any cereal. He's like not even looking at the other aisle with like the kashi and like the
Oh,
fiber
that's why
cereals.
that is my jam over
For
there.
sure.
That's what
Alan's
I
just
love.
sitting there looking straight at like the Fruit Loops and the and, like the Fruity Pebbles and the Lucky Charms.
Now
and he's just
listen,
like,
back
dude,
up,
what are
okay?
we gonna get?
First and
Butterfinger
foremost,
BBs?
I'm 39 years old. Okay.
Not.
What?
Tell the truth first of
Hey,
all.
Steve, will you fact check that?
If you're gonna exaggerate, at least if you're gonna exaggerate, go hard.
I'm-
Don't just go 4 years older than
I'm
what
just
you
like
are.
6 months older than I really am. I'm 33, but my birthday is in September.
Listen. I'm 46 years old.
That's at
and
least better.
I don't eat cereal if I'm getting a box of cereal, it's because the one night out of the month where I want to get crazy, I want to tie one on. I don't want kashi. I don't want banana nut crunch, dude. I want
You're
some.
missing out, man.
I want some Cap'n Crunch smothered in peanut s'more berries and just covered in chocolate milk and beer.
Okay, that is.
Maybe not
You
the
don't
beer.
even want that.
I don't.
No,
need
but I
anybody
mean
wants
that reason. What I'm saying is, the reason why I look at that side of the thing is because, like, dude, I don't know any adult who eats cereal.
Boil.
Well, yeah, we have a friend who is a man and also not. He's a myth.
What is he?
He's just
It was his
like
birthday yesterday.
Boil's actually 900 years old.
Shout out, dude.
I think
Boyle.
he's listening nowadays.
And
I think
he,
I think we've gotten him.
He works for the CIA.
Yeah, I think so too.
He definitely has a secret life.
He is. This
The
is.
Secret Life of Boyle could be its own sitcom.
Yeah,
I'm
this,
working on the book now.
we have to clue everybody in because this is like an inside thing. Nobody knows Mr. Sir T. Boyle Unless you pay very
Sir T?
close attention to Live at the Lodge. Sir Alex T. Boyle has been on every episode of Live at the Lodge. We somehow managed to get an
Just
astute
pull-
drawing
should I
of.
just go grab it?
You should go grab it.
Can you also grab me another one of these wonderful products?
Mickey Olson. We also have IPAs, bro.
No, dude,
you
it's
prefer?
way too early.
Yeah.
No, you know how we got the poster of Boyle? He had a coworker who drew them, 3 of them, and then Boyle sent them out as Christmas gifts to all of his friends.
Yeah. Bring it over
man.
here. Bring it over here.
Dude, Boyle is he is an
The greatest.
awesome human being. He's my best friend. He's
What?
you're my best friend, but like I've known him the longest.
Wait.
I was talking
Back up. What?
I was talking with Steve about this yesterday. That Boyle has been through every single hard moment in my life.
You guys have known each other since
yeah,
kindergarten.
He's been my right hand man. He's been in my
Yeah.
back pocket. He's like my go-to.
You
safety
squad. Check
bro.
this out. This is AT Boyle, dude.
Yeah.
As Friar Tuck. Can we get a zoom on this one? Check me out. This Mr. is
dude.
AT Boyle. For you folks listening, I'm going to describe this to you, okay? Boyle worked at UPS for about 7... Sorry. One of our greatest mentors, Mr. Alex T. Boyle, worked at UPS for many a moon. And a lady came in one day and says...
You have an angelic.
You have an angelic face. I'd like to draw you. Can I do it? And he's like, whatever, sure, cool. She shows up like a week later with the most dope picture of him
Saint
as
Boyle.
Friar Tuck, Saint Boyle.
Dude, does he have the crucifix marks on his hands?
dude,
and
he's
that?
got
he does,
holes in his hands.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Like he's, yeah.
I'm telling you, I think that's a cover story. I'm pretty sure that's just a self-portrait.
yeah,
from
that is
biblical
actually
days.
that is Boyle in like
That's his like
the
Yeah.
1400s.
senior year photo.
Yeah.
What does anybody know in this photo and in most friars, they did like the U-Hawk.
Yeah,
where
I-
they shave
yeah, I
the top.
don't know.
You know what that was all about? Anybody?
I-
Steve,
I-
can you
I
fact
don't
check
know.
that?
Maybe it,
See this thing?
Oh yeah.
They had like the
that's like a yarmulke.
bangs. It's like a yarmulke is a skin
but
of
it's your,
yarmulke.
It's your skin. It's your
It's a
bald.
skinomika.
What?
You're bald.
You're-
They just shave your head.
Right, but you're not bald. It was shaved. They
Yeah.
would like cut it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Really?
we should probably talk to Boyle
Don't
about it
you?
'cause he
Didn't
knows
you?
that-
Didn't you watch Game of Thrones, bro?
I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
Wow, you're missing out. Oh
dude.
God,
I know.
It's
I
kind of
know.
a big bite.
It's an
to
investment.
chew.
Yeah, I haven't watched much of anything. To be
But then,
honest,
yeah, I
but
haven't watched. Dude, I've never watched an episode of Friends.
I haven't.
Neither have I.
I've seen some, but yeah, not many.
That and I've only watched like 3 episodes of Seinfeld. Great,
Yeah.
great now. I think as a kid, it was above me.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I was too interested in like The Simpsons.
Speaking of friends, so you have been friends with Boyle for your whole life.
Oh yeah, dude.
And we have been friends since we were in like 6th grade.
Yeah.
We've all been friends for like at least 15 years.
Yeah,
for,
and
for
dude,
a long time.
It's the beauty of this. It's the beauty of our friendships.
Yeah.
I feel like there are times when I haven't liked every single one of my friends,
Most certainly.
and I've had to.
Wow.
I've had to commit to
Like all at the same time?
Not all at the same time, but like
Oh.
individuals. Like there's everybody goes through their own seasons, right? And you kind of have these coming and going of like I'm closer to this person right now and whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I do value our friendships that we have so much because we've put in work to deal with us at our shittiest times.
for sure.
What was
And-
my off season? What was my shittiest?
Dude, that's the thing. You don't get to have an off season because you're
Yeah.
touring. Like you've been a really good friend, but like you're gone for like 9 months out of the year, and then for 3 months we get to hang out with you, and we're stoked. But like I don't get to see the downside of that.
Dude, you remember this
We
one
saw
time? I
some
want to tell
downsides.
this really great story because this was potentially one of the highlights of my life and my musical career. So we were all at the bar one night, and a good friend of ours, he will remain nameless, decided to grab and you know, the bar had these really nice glass mugs.
Oh.
Right? And we all wanted one. They were gigantic. You
Yeah,
could
yeah.
fit 9 beers inside one of them. And so a close friend of ours, he's like, I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna go with it. So he leaves the bar with it and gets stopped by the bouncer. Well, another friend who will remain nameless sees the bouncer body up our buddy, and he, out of his stupidity, believes that a fight has broken out and just
Yeah.
starts swinging.
Yeah.
We break up the fight. Nick, you were monumental in the breakup of the fight.
Tough guy, Nick.
I stood about 6 feet away going, "You guys are dumb." But the fight concluded. Nobody was seriously injured.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next day,
Push pull tear.
the next day, you and I, we go. There's a convenience store just adjacent to
Oh,
this
dude,
bar
that is
that we
the
would
best thing.
that we would hit up. BJ's, the best guy,
Yeah.
best guy ever. And we cruised down there. I don't know. We want like a pack of Cheez-Its for the morning, you know,
I think we need to get eggs and like a toast.
a little sriracha, and we walked right past this bar that our still unnamed idiotic friend who gets in fights accosted this poor bouncer.
Mm-hmm.
So we walk past the bar, we get into BJ's, and we're stoked, man. We're like, yeah, dude, that was crazy last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want a Perrier? I'll get a Perrier. Are they cold? They're not cold? Okay, let's go with the San Pelli. Turn around, there's
Yeah.
the bouncer.
And like 3 of his friends.
Well, yeah, 3 of his friends, right? So the bouncer recognized you.
Yeah.
Right? Because
'Cause
you were in the
up
thick of
his
the
face,
thunder,
yeah.
and of course, old pussy pants Alan Stone. Sorry, I can't say that. Wussy pants Alan Stone was on the outskirts, right? I was
Yeah.
tossing in verbal arrows from the sidelines. Excuse me. This guy kind of bodies me up, dude. He's young. He looks ferocious.
He's angry. He was trying to fight me and telling me to buy him things at the store, and said no.
Yeah, first of all, no, we're not buying you anything because we're all both buying stuff on credit.
Yeah, I have
and
$7 in my
we both
bank
have
account.
school debt.
Yeah.
So we kind of like managed to bring the tension in the room
Yeah,
down, right?
yeah.
The bartender or the bouncer is up in your face. This other guy's up in my face, like looking me up and down. And I'm like, dude, bro, I haven't been in a fight my entire life. Like, I'll just fall. I could just fall right now. You don't even need to strike me. We de-escalate the whole situation. We're like, look, dude, last night was stupid. We have an idiot for a friend.
Yeah.
You were in the right. We were in the wrong. We're sorry. We're not going to give you his address. We brought it down and we're like, and listen, we'll throw in a pack of Peachios if it'll make your day better, right? Comes down, this guy who's bodied me up for the last 5 minutes, he's like, what's your name? And I'm like, my name's Alan. He's like, push, pull, tear, dog. That's my shit. Claps me, hand claps me,
I knew I
pulls me
recognized
in,
you.
pulls me in, and then it was like, this is the dopest thing that's
Yes.
ever
That's
happened
the
to
best.
me.
I hope that's the only physical fight you get in is the hand clap after somebody just
Right.
gives you some nice
For anybody
acknowledgement.
that doesn't know, which I can't imagine anybody doesn't know, "Push Pull Tear" is one of Alan's lyrics off of your Unaware song that he recognized Alan from, and used it
Yeah.
as a way to mend that friendship in the end of it all, which is so
I would
fucking ridiculous.
pay the very few dollars that I have in savings to see like a transcript of what was going through his head during that 5 minutes, being like, this mo.
He's
He's like going through the lyrics in his brain.
This guy Alan Stone?
Oh shit, man, I know this guy. Yeah. Oh damn, dude, this guy sing high as fuck. Oh damn, dude. Oh yeah. Push. What were the lyrics again? Maybe it was like mush, cool, tear, no pull. Oh, push, pull, tear. I don't know. Oh, dude, yeah,
man.
that's one of my favorite memories with you,
awesome,
Nick.
man.
That's
But how is that your favorite? I mean, like, it's a great memory, but also, like, that is...
because I'm a narcissist.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Nick, come on.
I mean, I've had some very sensitive moments with you on the dock that I would say are my favorite moments.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, we've had some good hugs, but that was funny.
Yeah,
that was
man.
funny AF. We laughed
Yeah.
about that for a good 15, 20 minutes afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
We've done so much stupid shit together for so many years.
Yeah, I've known each other
and I
for long
think
enough.
what you were saying just about how we've all seen each other through our worst of times and
Yeah.
have managed to be like we've been. I don't know a lot of groups of friends because we have 7 or 8 other dudes with girlfriends
And ladies, too.
and a few ladies with boyfriends or otherwise, who are part of this really close group of friends of ours.
Yeah.
Chappus
And
Woo.
it's the Chappus Woo, and it's so special and so cool. And we were at a party, or we were at our friends' houses the other day, and a kid that was at the party asked us what we thought had changed
Oh,
about
yeah,
each
yeah.
other.
That was Joshua, dude. Joshua,
Yeah, it was such a cool question to be asked, and we answered in a way that we both were just like, yeah, that's so accurate, because we
Yeah.
know we've had, although we've been so distant from each other, and we've had so much time away from being like in each other's immediate presence.
Yeah.
We know exactly who we are as friends, and we can kind of come back and just exist in that exact same spot every time we get together. And
Well, I think
it's
it
so
comes
cool.
from honesty. Like, I think
Totally.
people should strive in honesty in their relationships, romantically and with their friends, with their family. Like, just be honest, be genuine and true to yourself.
Yeah.
And then you'll find people around you who love you for you.
Yeah.
At least I hope you would. And if you can find those people who love you for who you are, you will get these close, long-lasting friendships. And I think it's weird. I don't want to sound. I feel like we can kind of fall into this thing where we feel like, oh, we have this special thing, and like we're the only people that have this.
Sure.
There are hundreds of thousands of friend
Oh my
groups that are
God, yeah.
just like this, where people are like, yo, that's my dog, ride or die. We're gonna do this together for life. But just and even if people, like whoever's listening, if you have a group of friends, like put in the work to learn to love somebody when it's hard, because that's what's got us through it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've committed to that relationship because it matters enough to us. And, find the people that you care about and hold them close, and you will have really, really fulfilling relationships from it.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of the things that I had said in regards to what I had noticed about you changing was that, and it's showing here today as you're talking openly about yourself and everything that you do, is that like this hardness, this shell of yours that you've always kind of maintained and presented with has been completely opened up, and you've allowed yourself to become like a vulnerable human being, which I know is very, 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 very fucking challenging for you. But it makes you 10 million times stronger than you ever were to begin with when you were presenting as this strong guy. Because I know that you could still beat the shit out of Lawrence Blairford over there on the corner, and like that's yeah, that's awesome. You don't need to. You don't need to do that anymore. You don't need to prove that to yourself or to any of us, or mostly just to yourself. And to watch you kind of get there with yourself through being just kind of patient with who you are.
I don't know if it was patient. It was like,
well, it is, man. It is. It really, because
therapy.
Well, sure, great.
Like lots of it.
Yeah, it's good. It's awesome, man.
It's. I had to learn to talk to myself and have a conversation with myself, and that is, it wasn't patient. It was work. Mm-hmm. It was hard, and it is like learning a new language. At least for me, I appreciate that sentiment. I think that's a very sweet and genuine and honest thing. But like the work's never done.
Not at all.
And there's always room to grow, and there's always room to improve. But yeah, it wasn't just like a walk in the park. Like one day you just wake up and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna be an asshole today. You're kind of just like, you see things in yourself that you don't like, and you got to figure out how to fix them.
I'd like to touch on Julian's the greatest change that I've seen in you as a man throughout our adult
mustache?
Life. How did you know? That's literally what I was gonna say. Is that you are the goddamn hard steel mustache mofo. That never lose that thing, Nick.
I only have it because I've committed, like at COVID, I wasn't gonna cut my hair. I wasn't gonna get because I didn't. The lady that I go to get a haircut, she is like 65, like has chronic health conditions, and like I don't want to get a haircut and end up killing my barber, so I'm just gonna let my hair grow out. And then I was like, I'm just gonna have a mustache too, because it's kind of silly and I need something to do. I hate it.
What?
You said you hate your mustache.
My mustache.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Your mustache is amazing, dude.
It is, things get in it, and it might. Some people think it looks cool. I think it looks creepy as fuck.
I've never known somebody who's gone through so many looks. You have gone through so many, and not even just like looks of your own. Like you literally like change ethnicities with your different looks. Like I've seen you look like different styles of human beings in so many turns of your life.
I have had some interesting phases.
To kind of touch on the previous topic, selflessness and vulnerability, if you could just take it upon yourself to think about us as friends, maybe more than you think about how much you hate that mustache, so that we could just keep it forever.
Dude, I'll keep it for a while. Circling all this, all just comes full circle, because that's how our conversations go. I don't want to be a dad that is known for having a mustache and then shaving it off, and my kids freaking out.
You can't. You gotta grow one when they're like 6.
That's a level of commitment that I'm not ready for. Is to like have my kids like, we don't like you anymore.
Right. You gotta grow that thing back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna feel that way. If you lose it, I'm gonna say, I don't. Who are you? Yes. I don't know this man.
But then I could be a new person. I could be a new friend.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you grow out the soul patch. If you grow out the soul patch and lose the mustache, then all is well in my household, my friend. Nick, I love you.
I love you too.
Julian would echo that sentiment. Thank you for, all your hard work that you have done for many years and are continuing to do in our communities in
Yeah.
Seattle specifically. I obviously don't live in Seattle anymore, but I hold like a very special place in my heart for that community. Thank you for sacrificing your time and your health potentially to bring people to the care that they need. And thanks for sharing with us your experience and sharing it with the listeners and the viewers, man.
Oh man, I'm more than happy to be here. If this has been less an opportunity to speak to the masses, but just to hang out with two of my best friends, and it's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
You know,
This is the best. Dude.
I'd be doing this without a microphone.
That's right. That's right. But let's do
We'll
it again.
Keep doing
Yeah.
it. Let's do it tonight.
I was,
And with that, we sign
Go
off.
have another shot of tequila.
all right.
Love you, Nick. Thanks,
you,
man.
guys.
Oh, Boo Boo, did you just make it to the end of the video? Yes, you did. Do you want to see more videos just like this one? Do you?
Well, then head over to patreon.com/live at the lodge, where you can support the How Good's This podcast, as well as the entire Live at the Lodge family.
Yep, yeah, you're going to get exclusive merch, personalized shout-out videos. Me and Jules, we're going to show up at your house and baptize your nephew, huh? Check it out, patreon.com/live at the lodge.